Make sure to check us out on Facebook and YouTube /WGLNA. As always, guys, if you're not watching this on battleviewer.com, go over there right now and check it out. And finally, follow us on Twitter @WGLNA so you guys can stay up to date on what's happening in the community around you.
Also, check out the question of the day, which is, who are your 2 guaranteed fantasy picks?
That's right. For me, if it's 07, I'm picking Meadowhawk because I promised him I'd pick him every single time, playing or not. And he did play, which was great, so I got some points out of that. And for Refuse, it's E63M6, showing in the first matchup of our night why I pick him.
Pretty much. For me, I went with Dekillzor / Heavy 20. We'll see. And, Akula and KT.
Yeah.
So I actually went with 3. Maybe I'll just change it to Akula and KT because they're the two biggest picks there.
Sure. Up next, ladies and gentlemen, though, we have our third matchup of the night. It is going to be eLevate versus High Woltage. Dave, this is a game that you were saying you were most excited to see. High Woltage is now in first place. They've taken that over Refuse, and now eLevate. How much does eLevate not want a tiebreaker win right now?
Well,
could they take
a
it?
lot.
Okay.
A lot. So they are only now a couple of points behind Refuse. In fact, well, I can't run the math right now with so many different causal relationships.
Yeah.
But it does give them an opening to come back and pass Refuse for second now.
Whew. All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, on the side of eLevate, we've got Zoid. On the side of High Voltage, we've got Dekillzor. Let's welcome them into face-off. Gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight.
How's it going?
Hello. Good. Zoid, going to go ahead and start with you. Now, as eLevate, as the team, how would you say that the team is integrated at this point in the season? How are they integrated?
I think we've integrated really well. At the start, there were some communication barriers, but, we've been playing for months now. I don't think we really have any issues. Our new players, they feel like old players to us. Our old players get along with everybody really well. So I'd say we're fully integrated. We need to be firing on all cylinders right now.
Awesome. Fantastic. I'm glad to hear that you guys are you have found that progression. You found the integration so successfully. And best of luck tonight. As David was kind of saying sooner, you guys might be able to pass up Refuse.
Yeah, I think every team does a lot of math at this point in the season.
No,
we're aware of that.
Math is good.
A couple teams actually know that I keep a crazy spreadsheet about it, so they just ask me. So if you want to save yourself some time, that'll work.
There you go. Just ask Magatron.
All right, so I understand that you have a charity event you'd like to tell us about.
Yeah, we're actually really excited about this. There are some other WGLNA teams that are involved in this as well, but we're partnering with Operation Supply Drop to run a 36-hour charity stream tomorrow starting at noon. We're giving away a ridiculous amount of tanks. It's going to be a lot of fun, so head over to twitch.tv/tankingforthetroops to catch up with that. I think it's definitely worth stopping by. It's an awesome cause.
Absolutely. What a fantastic thing that you guys are doing there. What was that? Twitch.tv/tankingforthetroops.
That's it.
All right.
I'm sure Zoid's putting it in Twitch chat right now. You don't even worry about it. If not, he will be now. Anyways, so great games for a great cause. But I believe Dekillzor is ready and waiting on the other side.
That's right, Dekillzor. Question for you on the side of High Voltage. Beautiful hat as always. How do you guys think that the overall skill level of the NA has been? How do you feel about it?
I think with the overall changes within the league, and a lot of teams are getting more competitive, and because of the higher competitiveness and the more amount of players coming in, I think it's increasing the overall level of the league, because if you want to compete now, you have to actually train more, prepare more, and it's just in general an improvement.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it looks like you guys are doing exactly that, as you guys have taken first place in the season. Congratulations again on that.
I'd say the depth has certainly gotten a lot better.
Hmm.
Anyways, so have you guys settled on a main lineup of 7 yet? Or are you just going to continue swapping players around? And is that kind of how you want to run your team?
I think for now, it's we don't have a static 7 for multiple reasons, because in trainings we never run the same 7 people, so everybody can jump in when to play, and if some people doesn't feel well or he's not performing in training, we'll just swap him out for another player and let him play instead. And every player can play different roles. People can play heavy tanks, or light tank players can play RT as well. So we're just making sure that the enemy never knows by seeing our lineup what we're going to play.
That's a good point.
Well, yeah, it seems like it's been working out well for you guys. So good luck as you continue that strategy. Zoid, before we get into the battle, any words you'd like to say to Dekillzor?
Like always, good luck, have fun.
There you go, Dekillzor, your response.
Zoid, I just have a funny joke, I guess. Before when I want to go to sleep, I really love your stream. It's just like after 5 minutes, I'm gone.
I was like, why? It's a joke if he loves it? Guys, shots fired there. Best of luck, gentlemen, in the battle. We'll see you guys shortly. That was harsh. You never attack a man's stream. Just don't.
You know, for the name Dekilzor, I've never actually seen him kill anybody.
Oh.
At least realistically. I mean, sure, in the game. But maybe Debulzor, because he's bully every single time he gets on here. I haven't heard his response, or Laughter's response yet, but I'm eagerly awaiting it.
It's gonna be a brawl for the ages. Now let's take a look at the rosters for both of these teams. We're getting ready for a third matchup of the night. Again, eLevate versus High Woltage. So David, continuing on those players that don't quite make quote unquote fantasy points, but still matter. Who are those for both of these teams?
Well, you know, he actually does both, and it's Arclit for eLevate there. Static, or actually a lot of their players do show up in fantasy and play well. Zone Delta is a very good example of that as well. Arclit and Zone often playing these critical positions where they have to make a lot of decisions. Static as well. And then for High Woltage, it's the same situation as before. They all put up a lot of points, and they're all extremely critical.
Yeah.
But as usual, Ox Mathis, Dekilzor, Heavy 20 really stand out players. But on top of that, then there's Blue Boys, who does a lot of the scouting, so he doesn't get as much of the shooting damage.
Sure.
It's never ending.
This is just two really good teams now playing against here. Ladies and gentlemen, our third matchup of the night is ready. It's going to be eLevate versus High Woltage onto Mines. This should be exciting. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
Like I said, I've been waiting for this match for weeks now.
Yep.
eLevate coming out on offensive minds for the first time tonight with IS-3, a T-32, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. High Voltage with a 5100, 2 IS-3s, a 1390, a 54 lightweight, and 2 M41 Bulldogs.
Woo.
Bulldogs.
We see
that as a bold strategy. Voltage. See if it pays off.
Absolutely here. Second time we've actually seen the Bulldogs tonight, but this time there are 2 of them. Where do you think we're going to be seeing those going for the side of High Voltage?
I was kind of wondering if they were going to do this, and they are. It's immediate split on both sides of the hill. They're going to go for that same surprise we saw them pull on Simp.
Wow.
We'll see if they can actually pull it off. As long as eLevate overcommits some of their tanks in the middle, it's very, very likely to work.
There we go. Static and Amorlee now making it up.
Oh.
Static getting tracked there. A nice shot from Dekilzor, but he has decided to make it up there on the hill. The question is, let's see if there's going to be a proxy spot now coming out here for Amorlee. He did. He got the proxy spot. Blue Boys Captain Wallhacks and Ampro now all have been spotted. Let's see how High Voltage can continue this, or if eLevate can respond appropriately. Some damage now coming out of Wallhacks there. A lot as well. G-Force are focusing him down. 732 points of damage in that M41 Bulldog. Backing up the kill, or Dark God's him. Another shot at Dark God. Gonna clean that one up. Amorlee and Static now collapsing onto the trap, coming down off the hill. Amorlee in his C-54 lightweight, taking a lot of damage. Blue Boys Captain picking up Azrael, but G-Forcer gonna find the Blue Boys in response. Ampro on the run. He's not gonna make it far. Static making sure that can't happen. And now the response for High Voltage Ox Mathis picking up Arclit. Heavy 20 though, taking a good chunk in that 5100 from Zone Delta from the side. Anfield now backing up. It is a 4-on-5 here. It is still anyone's game. High Voltage does technically have the HP still as Dark cuts in, finding Heavy 20 here. A lot of damage going across the map. Zone Delta against Dekilzor up on top. Dekilzor stopping Zone Delta's only escape, waiting for the shot, picking up Zone Delta there, and now it is a 4-on-3. Still though, the tanks in favor of High Voltage, and now eLevate continuing to maintain, or to increase that HP gap. G-Forcer, Static, and Amorlee backing up around the corner. Ox Mathis, Anfield. Now Dekilzor getting focused, fired. Beautiful shot there. G-Forcer lighting it up. Ox Mathis picking up Static, making it a 3-on-3, but Dark God's him, taking Ox Mathis down. Tanks falling all over the place. A massive battle now going on for both these teams. Let's see who's going to come out on top. Will it be eLevate? Will it be High Voltage? It seems like we have now a bit of a calm as the storm has settled down here. G-Forcer getting tracked around the corner. Anfield comes around, taking a shot, picking up G-Forcer. It is now a 2-on-2. Dekilzor with Amorlee going down. And now High Voltage have the victory in their grasp. A T-37 against a T-54 and an IS-3. This game should be going over to High Voltage after what seemed to be an endless fight around the center hill.
From an absolute fumble of a start to one of the most flawless closures I have ever seen. Woo! That was a match of the ages. Dark God Zim just trying to hold on for dear life here. Anfield's going to go ahead and push up on him. Dekilzor waiting as a safety net to make sure it all goes according to plan. 4 minutes are left on the clock.
That all happened in 3 minutes. Yeah. That was an insane explosion, an insane battle happening out for both of these teams, and this is one of the things we talked about. This is the thing to watch. Anfield taking the shot down. Dark on Zim going down. High Voltage picking up the first victory of the night. That match put a smile on my face.
We got a limited amount of time and a lot to cover, so I'm going to have to get after this
Stats.
very quickly. Yeah, we'll go to stats. We'll do it first.
Let's do it. Let's get that out of the way.
A whole different order of things. DeKillzor, 15 shots, 13 hits, 11 penetrations. I was already going to talk about how everything he did in that match was incredibly clutch. Anfield coming through. Ox Mathis, the rest of the guys fumbling that beginning, and I sympathize with that on such a high level. I'll get to that if we have time. G-Forcer doing a lot for his team. A ram kill, a number of other things. And where is it? Dark God Zim. T-37, 17 penetrations for nearly 1,700 damage and 30 kills. Talk about flank control.
Wow.
That's ridiculous. He got just let to fire the whole time. So
let's talk about it.
As many people know, I like to bully DeKillzor. He likes to bully me. We tell each other we're bad, all sorts of stuff. I can't do it. I can't do it. Blocking that IS-3 and just everything that happened there. All the setup shots, I'm not sure who called it between Anfield and DeKillzor, who was going to focus where, but covering over Anfield, baiting the person to come around in the 54, getting that shot off, all perfect. And it made up for a mistake that I saw where I wasn't sure if it was intended on, if it was something done on purpose or not. But Heavy 20 only got off 4 of his shots. Now, all 4 of them penetrated, but I wasn't sure what he was shooting. It looked like maybe 54s, but there was an IS-3 right next to him. That was going to kill him if he didn't do it.
Why was he focusing?
I felt like it would have been better to help kill the IS-3 so DeKillzor, but I don't know. I don't know. They're obviously great players.
Absolutely. I mean, a fantastic explosive start. Hopefully the rest of the battles are like this. Ladies and gentlemen, we're into the next one. High Voltage versus eLevate. High Voltage up 1-0. Same sides. Let's get into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
eLevate with an IS-3, a T-32, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. High Voltage with a 5100, 3 IS-3s, a 54 lightweight, and 2 LTTBs. So, with the Bulldogs gone, I felt like that broadcasted a little bit because they're just not great tanks unless you get a very solid side or flank shot. And even then, the side shot, not so hot. Looks like Wallhacks ran into a rock, which caused the rest of his team to pile up, threw the whole timing off, and Amerly got the spot on him. I did something incredibly similar in a very, very high-level match in
that's
Grand Finals.
I can empathize.
And it deconstructed our entire strategy. We weren't able to come back from it, and I felt terrible. But in this instance, High Voltage crawled back, and that's even more impressive than if it had just worked flawlessly, honestly.
All right. Well, let's see if they can pull out some more amazing moves here, or if eLevate has a response to this. DeKillzor and Ampro, 2 LTTBs going over far east into the village here. Not quite the flank that we saw last time. And now Fight going up on top of the hill. Some shots going on both sides. Blue Boy's captain maintaining, holding back in that team 4 position. Looking for static. Amerly have made it up on top of the hill. Ox Mathis not taking shots there from an IS-3 zone delta. Pretty typical position we see right along the edge of that western side of the hill there. Amp Pro still in the back, the 2 LTBs on the eastern. And David, we talked about triggers tonight, looking on him, sort of what what team is looking for. If a team goes here, we go here. Someone does this, we do this. With those 2 LTBs, do you think you have a guess of what that trigger they're looking for is to start moving?
They're just looking for sniping, I believe, right now. And they're also able to come in behind eLevate if eLevate were to push or do anything crazy. It's not, I don't know if they had a trigger they were looking for, to answer your question directly, but it's not a bad play to make. They perhaps might have gotten some good snipe shots out of it. They didn't. They're pulling back. They're going to go someplace else. Wouldn't surprise me if they go 1-2 with it, all the way down to the K line, all the way across. Right now, eLevate is holding a little bit steadier, and that's more of their style. High Voltage brought it to him in the first match, pulling it back and playing slower in the next match, started to create a metagame that's very hard to predict. And I've heard a couple people say that Arclit as a battle caller is a bit of he likes to run counters sometimes. He likes to get under the meta and counter people. Now I don't, I haven't talked directly with DeKillzor or Wallhacks or really any of the High Voltage guys about what their plans are for this match or anybody from eLevate. But if that is true and they believe it as well, then doing things like that in the metagame is incredibly important to try and throw off Arclit's overall game. This isn't Arclit's first rodeo. There's a good chance he will remain in control despite people kind of messing with him like that.
Here we go now, a little bit of fight going through as we have 3 members of eLevate pushing down that one line, heading to the K1 position. Now going to K2, setting up there. And High Voltage using this opportunity to try to take the hill. Anfield, though, getting focused on that IS3 coming up from the top from both behind and from the side. And now the aggression onto Static, getting tracked, 1,000 damage. One more shot, he'll go down. Oxmathis finds it, and the first tank of the map falling for the side of eLevate. And the aggression continues. The Killzor and Ampro pushing up, trying to find the overmatch where they can. Blue Boys captain looking for a shot, getting a nice angle onto Zone Delta. Nice damage, 1,000, over 1,000 there, and Ampro picking up Zone. Looking like they forced Dark God Sim, or Arclet, off the hill in that T-32 as he's starting to retreat, but he now is out of position. And the question is, where is the rest of the fight going to go? Arclet has to be careful as he's going to try to join the rest of his teammate. And down over on the side, we've got Ampro fighting against Dark God Sim to Killzor, picking that one up. Now eLevate, just 4 tanks remain, and not a single tank lost for High Voltage here, coming out almost on their second game of defense.
That was just mind-blowing. That looked to me like an anticipated move based on timing and perhaps one spot trigger. To come up the hill like that, it looked like it was planned. It didn't. The timing on it was too good. The 54s in the southwest didn't get shots on anybody going up. I felt like they should have been able to track and kill Heavy 20, but it just didn't really work out. High Voltage bullying it its way on the hill with far greater success than I ever would have expected.
Yeah.
Arclet and the rest of his team now playing from the defensive side, which, as we've talked about a number of times, is confusing and weird. It's everything opposite of what
Right.
you're used to doing.
Right.
And you don't have that familiar safety when you play these positions of, well, I don't have to go anywhere. I'm on defense.
And also
Right
they have,
now. Go ahead.
also they have 7 tanks. They still haven't lost a single one, so everybody's
There
got
is
to be
that.
shaking in their boots.
There is that. Just not a small thing. eLevate probably just looking for a way in. But right now, while the tank difference is severe, there's only 300 hit point disparity. 295, if we will. I think. I don't know. I'm not going to do this math right off the top.
Math.
So G-Forcer and Amarlee trying to push their way off the top of the hill, but it looks like this is expected. They're getting lit up by both LTTBs and shots from the hill.
That's right, man. High Voltage just having the response for every single corner that eLevate could possibly do. Now Amarlee and G-Force are splitting the hill, trying to find Ampro. Looks like he's going to be the next point of focus. Amarlee picking up that kill on the move, and LTTB down. Now the first tank falling for High Voltage. So let's see how the rest of eLevate can respond here. High Voltage taking some shots on Amarlee now from the corner. Dark or to Killzor in that LTTB. A beautiful position here. And now Amarlee and G-Force are absolutely caught out over on the side. Azrael down in that K5 position, still taking shots from the hill. G-Force and Amarlee turning their turrets to try to take this LTTB back, who is in their spawn. Shot going out there, 280 points going there. And the Killzor looking for another shot, trying to line this one up, but G-Force are getting pretty aggressive. They want to clear him up so they can get rid of this nuisance as quick as possible. G-Forcer pushing up in this T-54, going on top of the hill, looking for the shot. Who's going to take it first? And the question is, who's going to come on top? Amarlee finding the Killzor. A nice pickup there. High Voltage now trying to respond. Now down to 5 tanks, and the HP still pretty close, about 600. No, eLevate dropping Azrael in that T-54. Now no longer is the HP close. It's now 1,000 in favor of High Voltage. Wallhack picking up Azrael. Just 2 tanks remain, and they're about 1 to 2 shots left each. High Voltage is going to pick up another victory here because 52 seconds there on defense. Nothing G-Forcer can do.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Definitely
on
not
the
now.
run through the fence. Heavy 20 picking that one up. High Voltage now up 2-0 against eLevate. Like you're saying, almost the mind games coming in here from High Voltage. Go extremely aggressive onto defense. This is one of the questions. Every time it comes up in my mind, I just tell myself, Christian, no, it's a dumb question. You don't want to go hard on defense because then you become the attackers, and there's usually more of an advantage for the attacker, for the defenders than the
It's not a dumb
attackers.
question at all.
Oh, it's not?
No, going
Oh.
hard on defense is part of the game.
Whoa.
Sometimes absolutely critical.
Obviously.
High Voltage seems to subscribe to the idea.
Yeah. Good
Let's
for you.
go
Hey,
to
good for you
stats
guys.
while we can.
All right.
Again, at this situation, not an overwhelming amount of stuff to cover. I just know that this is one that a lot of people bet on. There's a lot of talk about it
Yeah.
in the Twitter sphere and on the forums. I never thought I'd actually use the word Twitter sphere, and now I've
sphere.
said it twice. Anfield leading his team about 1,800 to Killzor, similar in an LTTB, 10 for 10 for 10. I mean, aside from some positional stuff where he probably could have stayed alive a little bit longer. Again, I can't really criticize him. He's playing great this time.
He's killing it.
That's somewhat frustrating for me because it's one of my favorite things to do. Heavy 20, getting in 4 for 4 out of his overall 7. The rest of the team, so over here on eLevate, Zone Delta, Azrael, Arclet, Amarlee, all the way down the line. Static not getting the usual angles into the fight that he usually does.
Yeah.
Wonder, there could be some very interesting player trends that emerge from this.
Okay.
I noticed there, against certain teams, certain players will do a lot better. So say, for example, Heavy 20. When he's playing against a team where it's a much harder challenge, he doesn't get in as much damage. He's a 5100. They want to shut him out. He plays the way he needs to.
Sure.
When they play against some of the teams that they're overall strategically better than, Heavy 20 has a field day, lights people up. And it's not just about the tanks that he plays.
That makes sense.
It's about what he takes upon himself to do. You don't risk as much when you're playing a team like eLevate.
Absolutely. And now, ladies and gentlemen, into our third battle of our third matchup of the night. Undermines, we've switched sides. High Voltage is now up to 2. Let's see if they can continue this victory, or if eLevate can come back and tie it up. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
eLevate with an IS-3, a Pershing, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37 on defense. High Voltage with an IS-3, a T-32, 4 T-54 lightweights, and an FV-304.
Ox Mathis in that FV-304. Let's see if he can make the highlight reel again. Might put 3 out of the 5 slot going out for Ox Mathis. Anfield, the T-54 coming up to join him here. This is actually something we haven't seen. Usually just the RD goes up here by himself. Looking back here, David, in this the northern part of the map. Anfield in Ox Mathis' position. Why is Anfield back here as well and not joining the rest of his team somewhere else?
He can actually fire on top of the hill and into the 1-2.
Okay.
So he's just back there. It's not really defending Artie, but he's supporting a number of other people, and they do seem to be expecting something like Dark God Zim's Light here. Look, Heavy 20 is already lying in wait, gets spotted first, gets shot, but he is in perfect position to go pick up Dark God Zim, and there is very little eLevate can do about it, aside from counter push directly into the waiting lineup of High Voltage.
Oh man, here we go. Looks like Dark God Zim now is on the run. T-37 being chased down by a T-54. Here comes the push from eLevate. Up on top of the hill, Amber Leaf taking the first chunk of damage there from the side. Blue Boys captain by the Lighthouse, and now Zone Delta on top of the hill as well. G-Forcer, more damage, and not a single shot from eLevate has been fired. Finally, the response going on to Ampro, who can just easily back off the hill. He's done his damage, and now he gets to safety. Static and Amberley pushing forward, and it looks like eLevate is just walking right into the trap that they've sent. Zone Delta falling down the hill onto the Killzor, getting a little bit of damage, but it's not going to be enough. G-Forcer going to be the next point of focus. The Killzor actually might go down here. Just one more shot. Azrael picking that one up, but Heavy 20 finds G-Forcer. More shots going through. Anfield picks up Azrael. 2 tanks down for the side of eLevate for the 1 up High Voltage. Static finding Heavy 20 and finding Static, and going down to Zone Delta there. Back and forth kills. It is now a 4-on-4. eLevate doing their best to claw the way back, but Anfield shutting that down by taking Dark God Zim out of the fight. Zone Delta is extremely low. One more shot, and he will go down. Wall hacks also might be going down for the side of High Voltage, but Blue Boys captain picking up another kill. Wall hacks finding Emmerly. Arklet does pick up that IS-3, but he himself is the low in IS-3. 3 tanks against the 1. Blue Boys captain getting on behind, finding that weak armor in that IS-3, doing as much damage as he can.
Critical miss. Critical miss coming out of Arklet. Blue Boy's getting ahead of him in DPM. He can take this next shot on the chin, and it'll still guarantee the victory. Not that it mattered in the end, as Anfield had already cleaned up the remaining 54 and was closing in to bring this match to a 3-0 result on eLevate. I gotta be wondering if they're going on tilt yet. If they weren't before, that strategy might have done it.
Let's listen for the timeout.
It looked like everything that happened there was on purpose. I don't think they sent Heavy 20 after Dark God Zim's T-37, expecting him to, didn't think that they wouldn't get pushed on when they went that way. Why he was up there to begin with, why Anfield was back in the snipe spot, why they were all stood off in a lot of allowing hill.
Good strategy.
It looked deliberate to me.
Yeah.
And that's studying your opponent's film and getting directly inside their heads, showing them something they want, prompting the response you want, and setting a trap
taking advantage
for it.
of that.
That's what we talked about a while ago, about being the overall top level of strategy. Not playing reactive, but forcing your enemy to react the way you want.
Right.
And then grabbing them.
Woo, High Voltage doing a good job at that.
Stats.
Stats. S for stats.
Blue Boys leading off High Voltage with 2,200 damage. Wall hacks immediately behind him. And Ox Mathis with 444 damage, which isn't particularly funny on its own, but he just 5 hits, 5 penetrations, and 3 splash. That's crazy. Okay, and then over here for eLevate, Arclet surviving, or Emerly surviving second longest, I believe. Arclet surviving the longest. Nope, actually, I think Emerly went down early. Whatever, doesn't matter. Here's the point. Emerly and Arclet leading off their entire team. Zone Delta right behind. This is getting in territory where, unless the map change extremely favors eLevate, or eLevate can shake this off, this is tilt territory. This is like, we've discussed this loosely, going on tilt, that kind of thing. There's never been a situation in the league yet where somebody could truly go on tilt.
And this is it.
There has to be match importance.
Sure.
And this one matters a lot.
That's
it's
true.
not a playoffs game. It's not a finals game.
But for eLevate,
but it still matters a lot for eLevate,
Yeah.
and just as much for for high voltage. They have to convert this into a win in order to keep the advantage they have over
place.
Refuse.
Right.
Refuse lost, but they still got 1 point, and that's enough. It's enough, right? So if high voltage were to lose, it would close it. And again, not going to get into the whole standings breakdown.
But both are important.
All super important, and this is the kind of situation where you get countered like that. You have a
You're
number
like,
of situations flip on you.
Yeah.
That is where real tilt comes in. So we'll see how resilient eLevate is in this situation.
That's right.
Whether they can bring this to a close and put a point on the board for their final defense of months.
Let's see if they can shake it off. Ladies and gentlemen, getting right back into it. Same sides. Let's see what we've got for our tanks.
eLevate with an IS-3, a Pershing, 4 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. High voltage with a 5100, 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, and a T-37. Angry Guy switching in. Actually seeing Anfield come out and Ant come in, I believe. They are shuffling around their lineups. They're doing it directly right now. I question ruling out Anfield at this point in time, because he's been playing great these past couple matches. But hey, whatever High Voltage wants to do at this point, I am in no position to criticize them because they are killing it right now.
Absolutely, and they're going for a very different strategy. The artillery has been gone, and already a fight going on down the hill. Heavy 20 in the 5100, getting dropped to half health, having to bail off the hill there. A little position though. Might have been stuck for a position. Zone Delta though in his T-54 taking half as well, but maybe a little too much damage than High Voltage was expecting. We're over on the corner, down in the southwestern side, to Killzor. Running there with Ant. It looks like they might be going for a flank, but eLevate looks like they might be able to see this, and looking like they're just going to go for the aggression here. Fighting Ox Mathis going on the push. Hammer League being the first one taking a lot of damage. Ox Mathis is in a lot of trouble. He needs to find a way to back out here safely and quickly, or he will go down. More of eLevate continuing to pile over this hill. Static taking a shot from Blue Boys up on top, down up in that northern position. A4, where he's sitting in that light tank, and now more shots going through to Killzor and Ant Pro coming on the side in those T-54s. Let's see how effective they can make this flank work. The Killzor taking the shots. eLevate clearly having control over the hill on this match, but continuing to find the picks for the damage. They are slowly decreasing in their HP. High Voltage continuing at that 6200. Let's see how much more this can go through. And David, looking at the positions that we've got, with eLevate having the control on the hill, but High Voltage kind of sandwiching them in here. G-Force are taking a lot of damage.
High Voltage's match, man.
All right, there we go. Wall hacks, as you say it. G-Force are going down. eLevate looks like they walked into another just trap, waiting for them by High Voltage. Amerly taking some shots there. Wall hacks, another kill. Beautiful focus fire coming out of those 3 tanks down at the bottom. Another pick up there. Static getting extremely low. Heavy 20 having to back off there. Still has 3 shots. Darko's in the T-37. Looks like he's trying to find the kill, but Wall hacks, another kill. 3 kills coming out for that IS-3. An amazing amount of damage going out for that team. And High Voltage, David, as you said, this is their match. They are continuing to just find these victories where they find Angry Guy, Blue Boys captain, back-to-back kills. Just Dark God Zim and Arclet left for eLevate. High Voltage going to go up 4-0. David, Ampro with the slide ram, the sacrifice, but it's worth it for the kill. High Voltage with another victory there, making it, like we were saying, 4-0. Coming on to Mines. This is the match we're looking forward to. These 2 teams going at it.
They could have just 7-0'd him with tanks on tanks. We'll go to stats to lead all this off so I can get into the overall strategic discussion.
Let's do it.
Ox Mathis, not in an artillery, leading his team with 6 penetrations and 2,000 damage. Wall hacks right behind. Ant right behind that, plus a ram kill for the swag. Blue Boys, heavy 20. Again, see, here's the situation. Heavy 20, getting shot early in the beginning,
having to back
snubbed
off
out of the fight, getting his damage in, kind of.
Regardless.
All the shots he took, he still penetrated. And he just got snubbed out, and that's what's going to happen. And it's important for him not to get super worried about it and just keep playing, because that's what's going to happen to him. And as long as people are busy with him, the rest of his team should step up and carry it out. That's how it works.
Right.
Anyways, Arclit and Static leading off their team. That's an absurdly high amount of damage for 3 penetrations.
Good rolls.
Either fantastic rolls, or he got a fire or something like that in there. I don't know. So, as it was, I was actually getting ready to give props to eLevate for not getting psyched out and believing it was a trap again and going in.
Just keep on pushing.
And then halfway down they stopped, and it went from not being a trap to being a trap.
So they put themselves
I don't
in
think
that
High
situation.
Voltage. Yeah, I don't think High Voltage intended for Heavy 20 to get shot and sucker people in. They're not.
I don't know.
That
Don't put it past them.
I wasn't gonna say good. I was gonna say crazy, because that's utterly unnecessary and crazy. You could bait that response with other stuff than losing half health or
that's
possibly
what they want you to think.
all of your health on a 5100. Hey man, I honestly wouldn't even believe them if they told me they did it on purpose at this point. I'd be like, sure you did.
No, okay,
and if you did, you're lucky it worked, because he could have gotten tracked and killed in your nuts. Whatever. They played their way out of it.
Yeah.
And eLevate just gave them the laurel back, and I hope they can get it together for the rest of this set. They are getting into Lakeville. Perhaps they should have banned mines.
Oh, yeah.
We talked about probably being good on that.
They're probably regretting that one now. But David, like you said, High Voltage up 4-0 against eLevate. Let's see if eLevate can pull out a miracle and win 4 games in a row in Lakeville. But High Voltage just needs one more. Let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
eLevate trying to claw their way back on offense with a 5100, 2 IS-3s, 3 T-54 lightweights, and a 12T. High Voltage with a 5100, 2 IS-3s, a T-32, 2 T-54 lightweights, and Ox Mathis back in the FP304. This is a brutal situation to be in. Go ahead, ask me which team I'd rather be.
Hey, David, and I've got a question for you as this match kind of gets started. Which team would you rather be?
eLevate. Nah, High Voltage.
Like,
just come on, man.
Wait a second. Yeah, I could answer this question.
Dude, don't sell yourself short.
You
know a whole lot more than people think you do. Backhand compliment. AMX-12T, Dark God Zim getting a nice spot across the middle, and eLevate not really being able to convert on it. So now the question is whether they can convince themselves, whether they actually believe that nobody crossed, or they see that the fight is there waiting in the city. High Voltage is not scared. High Voltage is waiting for this to happen. The T-32 spotted there in the middle should indicate everything eLevate needs to know. Now it's on them to stick around and fight this out and bring it back in a brutal confrontation, or go the other direction, play the safer bet, and see what happens.
Oh, it looks like they're going to go the other direction.
Debatable choice. Debatable choice. Not like High Voltage can't flex back. Not like High Voltage can't shut it down. Plus the artillery. You know, whatever they want to do. But they did pick up Blue Boys.
That's right in the center.
And that's huge.
Now they're going to have full control over this middle part of the map. And we've talked about how that is a huge importance for Lakeville. Either side that you're on, G-Force are now going to take a position where Blue Boy's corpse is. Dark God Zim on the reload in that 12T. The question is, being a tank down, can High Voltage still pull this out? They are on defense. They do just have to either stall the timeout, find the resets where they can, and just stay alive. So they do have that advantage. But again, being a takedown, that is not a place you want to go, and giving up that middle road. Not something they were probably planning on doing. To kills within T-32. Doing a nice little corner dance here with Dark God Zim. The shot coming out from Ox Mathis, 140 in that 12T. A beautiful arc there going right on the side of the rock. And over on the side, we've got Static, Azrael, Emerly, and Arclit pushing down the valley. The 1-2 line going for that western cap. Dark God Zim from the back, taking a lot of shots. Wall hacks gonna clean that one up, and now a tank down for both sides. Anfield gonna be the one to take some damage, pushing through. I think Wall hacks and Anfield kind of battle butting system in those IS-3s, trying to find any sort of remaining tank that they can. But the only one they could possibly find would be G-Forcer here. Zone Delta looks like he's enjoying the rest of the team and get to safety behind the mountain. And now, David, looking at you, if eLevate were to put this pressure right now onto the western cap, would you say if you were them, you would hold that, or would you then just go for a cap fast, or is High Voltage still too set up to respond to that?
Not without Dark God Zim alive. You have to get some damage in, which they are with G-Forcer, and you have to screen cap and put somebody on cap. The most important thing here for High Voltage is they have to be able to see the cap to reset it with the FP304. As long as you can prevent, as long as eLevate can prevent High Voltage from spotting cap, then and only then is the Western Cap a viable thing? Because Ox Mathis will reset that
Every day.
unless
Sure.
eLevate just some sort of does a magic shuffle and Ox misses most of his shots, which is possible. The FE304 splash range isn't huge.
Here we go.
We do have a center fight, so here
we go. Ampro going up against Zone Delta, as well as G-Forcer in the center. A T54 battle going back and forth. Oh, shot coming out. Ox Mathis with the cleanup kill, just missing his ally. A beautiful, precise shot there. And now Ampro has a nice little shield going against Zone Delta in the center. The cap pressure, though, is on. 63 seconds, down to 30. Nice little resets coming out for both of these tanks. Now going over and checking out what is happening here. Zone Delta trying to hold any member of High Woltage that he can, allowing the rest of his team to build up those cap points. Dark God Zim, or to Killzor, excuse me, in that T32 coming out the corner. 3 members on cap. It's down to 5 seconds. The shot from the Killzor misses, but Ox Mathis gets the reset. Amar Lee finding to Killzor, down to 5 seconds. Ox Mathis has to get another reset quick, or eLevate will pick up their first victory. The shot just missing there from both of the members of High Woltage, and eLevate has successfully taken a victory off of High Woltage there. The first victory of this third matchup of the night. We talked about just one. I just need to see 3 more. It's not that much. It's not that. It's
One
not
on the
that much.
board.
One
Yeah, 3
on
more
the
is a little
board.
bit more difficult than you'd think. Okay, statistically. Okay, we're going to
I guess
stats
we're
just
going
for
to it. You hear a
this.
laugh from him, we got to go to
This
stats.
is Ox Mathis leading his team. I don't know if I
Holy-
need to.
oh.
That's like a setup and a punchline all at once.
Ox Mathis leading his team.
With the FE304. What?
Not even-
1,000 damage, 6 penetrations.
Good for that guy.
What? That's okay. I mean, in this, I said multiple times, Fight Breast Cancer making Ox Mathis jealous. Right now, Fight Breast Cancer is crying because he's never had a game look like that.
Ox Mathis like, let me show
Over
you how
here
it's
for
done.
Zone Delta, 1,500 damage. Cassette, not much else to cover in stats.
Yeah.
What you see is what you get there. And eLevate doing a great job overall. The pickup on Heavy 20,
Huge.
or on Blue Boys,
In the
set
center
them
road.
up because that was one of the main guys that needed to be that would have been doing the spotting for Ox Mathis.
Right.
Then the middle road fight happened, and AntPro went to go handle G-Forcer, and he was probably going to, as G-Forcer was a little bit lower down on health before Ox Mathis dunked him right through the roof. GG. But then Ant was stuck there, and he couldn't go back to spot, so then Killzor had to go do it, but he's a T32.
Huh.
He's going to die in the process. 1 reset from Ox, super critical. The splash didn't reset multiple tanks.
No.
That's one of the differences between an FE304 and an M44. The M44 in that instance might have
More
been able to
reliable.
reset all 3.
Wow.
Not that it would make... He'd have to hit the next shot directly. Debatable which one's better for resetting. We got another battle coming out,
That's
so we're
right.
about to find out if eLevate can bring it back.
Let's see if they can, ladies and gentlemen. We're on the same sides on Lakeville, so let's get right into it and take a look at what we've got for our tanks.
eLevate with a 5100, 2 IS3s, 3 T54 lightweights, and AMX 12T. High Woltage with 2 IS3s, a T32 and AMX 1390, 2 T54 lightweights, and an FV304.
That's right.
1390. Point that out. It's different. Different from last time, different from what we usually see from a lot of teams on this map, but it's not different for Blue Boys. It's not different for High Voltage. 1390s we've discussed a number of times. I'm going to highlight a little bit because it is a risky tank. It's a tank we don't see as often anymore as we used to in the past. A 6-shot clip, fairly long reload. Very, very vulnerable, and its aim time is awful. So if you can get in a one-on-one with a 54 lightweight, as long as you don't bounce, you should win.
Really? Okay.
If you do bounce, you will definitely lose.
Okay.
So,
wow. It's like a make or break gun.
I mean, you got to bounce 2 to guarantee it. And then there's the whole case of fire and a bunch of other caveats.
No, don't talk to
And
don't talk
These are
yourself out of
the
it.
reasons. I'm not talking myself
Be
out of it.
confident.
I'm being accurate. I fully
Yeah.
believe a 1390 should beat the T54 lightweight. Like 98% of the time,
Right.
it will.
but there always
in the
is those
event that
crazy
you
events.
don't bounce anyone.
Right.
But it's my job to be accurate about things.
That's true. That is true, and I
And while
love
I do
you for
waffle
it.
occasionally, this is not one of those times.
All right, Heavy 20 now set up, ready for any sort of push that eLevate will be doing. Let's say they're doing exactly that. Dark God's the only member from eLevate who has stayed behind. G-Forcer not quite coming to the center road yet, but not quite joining the rest of his team. Now let's see this push from eLevate, if High Voltage has a better response for it. Ox Mathis is set up. I mean, he decided to come, he didn't stay. Usually we'll see them say kind of the J9, J0, K0 positioning for the artillery to get those shots to the city, and then reposition, but right off the bat, he's decided to go right down to K3 to get a beautiful line shot onto all of these tanks going through. So if you're eLevate, I mean, if you see this, these artillery shots coming from that angle, do you question pushing? As
You're mystified. You just be like, wait, how? He must be in the 1-2 line. Why would he be here? What else is there?
Oh, no.
If an RD's back there, it's a very good bet that there's a whole lot more armor there, and it's going to mess with their heads.
All right, well, let's see if eLevate can shake off whatever mind games High Voltage is doing and try to take another win, or if High Voltage can pick up just one more. As it looks like we do have a fight already, some damage coming out from G-Forcer there, and that T-54 lightweight to Killzor. I mean, the targeting into that, and now Anfield taking another shot in the center road fight, going through. Blue Boys captain coming to join him. Dark Eyes in, doing his best to take the shots from the corner. And now here we go, ladies and gentlemen, right in the center. Blue Boys captain, Heavy 20, going against G-Forcer, who's taking a lot of damage, but over down to the south, western side. eLevate with 5 members going through. Heavy 20 picking that one up. Anfield getting out just in time, as well as Ox Mathis. They knew that they were in trouble. They decided to get out. A very wise choice for them. No cap pressure, and Blue Boys captain finding Dark God Zim over on the side with the help of Ant Pro there. 2 tanks down for eLevate. This is looking great for High Voltage to pick this up and take it. They just have to make eLevate not cap here, and they have 2 tanks up on them to make sure that doesn't happen.
Won't be too difficult to reset. A beautiful shot from Anfield with a reset, and then a shot from Ox Mathis that penetrated, I believe. Looked like about 180, 186. Not entirely sure, but it was engine deck for sure.
Here we go, Anfield taking some more chunks in that IS-3. Arclight having to back off. Zone Delta now the only one applying any sort of cap pressure for eLevate. The question is, let's see how quick, I guess, High Voltage can clean this one up. Another shot there going in from Ox Mathis, 88 onto that IS-3. He's doing a great job finding the resets. That was exactly who he needed to do it on, and he did it perfectly. Zone Delta backing off cap there. Another shot going for Arclight. This is not looking good for eLevate whatsoever here. Seems like they just have no options, and they just do not know what to do. David, if you were in this position, I mean, what would you do? What would you set? What would you chalk this one up to?
What would I chalk it up as, or to? Like, what was the loss here? they did the same thing twice against High Voltage, and High Voltage adapted and made them pay for it. And I think that's one of the biggest issues here. But aside from that, I don't know if there are minor execution points. It's just very hard to convert what eLevate is trying to do right now into a win against what High Voltage did back to him. So at this point, what would I be doing? I would be crying almost. I'd have very little faith that I'd be able to pull this out. I'd be trying. Sending this rear flank is not a bad idea. I mean, it shouldn't make the difference, but crazier things have happened.
Right.
So this is a chance. Send 1 down the 4 line, maybe 1 down the 7, try and isolate the guys like the Killzor and Anfield and shut it down and just sneak out of cap in time. It's a dozen different solutions here we can discuss, all of them exceedingly improbable.
Now they are starting, so let's see if eLevate can pull out what seems to be a kind of a hopeless position that they're in the fight. Static. Emily and Azrael on the center road. Static. Beautiful focus fire coming out for High Voltage there, 706, leaving him with just 8 points of HP. He is on the retreat. Amerlee now being the next person to be focused there, 728 points of damage. Heavy 20 actually pushing up even further to get a shot onto Amerlee. Let's see if it's going to be worth it. Just going to the corner. No, he does get a safety. Ampro picking that one up over from the enemy spawn. A beautiful place to be. Now Static in some trouble there. Azrael taking some more damage there, and it's a T-54 and just a minute and 40 on the clock. 40 seconds on the cap timer. High Voltage still with 7 of their tanks. Oh, this is just looking increasingly worse for eLevate here. Not sure. They were saying there's nothing really at this point that they can do. Just hope and pray. Azrael, more damage going through. Heavy 20 taking the shot up there. One more shot in that T-54, and he will go down. Wall hacks gonna pick that one up. To Killzor picking up Zone Delta over the mountain. Static going to join Arclight. What is going to be a final stand here. A minute and 10 seconds left on the clock. To Killzor going down. Just Static remains. High Voltage gonna take this victory. The 5-1 victory against eLevate to close out our third and final match of the night. To Killzor and Blue Boys captain with a double tap, and that'll do it. High Voltage picking that one up. 5 victories there. eLevate just able to pick up 1 onto Lakeville. The Mines play out of High Voltage. Absolute domination there. David, some of the things you saw. Anything interesting in stats?
Well, the interesting thing is we'll show them, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll just show them right now.
It's pretty interesting.
People want to see it, and I know they do. I've been watching chat recently, not today, but I can see chat posthumously, basically. And People always go, stats are riot is the phrase I hear. Blue Boys captain leading off
That's all right.
his team with 2,000 damage and field and pro. Heavy 20, the rest. Ox Mathis again with nearly 800 damage. Just, okay, wow. And for eLevate, exactly what you'd expect. Well, actually, I didn't expect Amerly to get nothing. He only even connected once. He fired 3 times. Just got kind of messed up on the overall strategy there, and it didn't work out for them. That whole set basically established for me that until proven otherwise, High Voltage is the best team in the league.
That's right. I can definitely echo that one. Again, they just increased their lead over Refuse. They're now sitting pretty at first place, and congratulations to them again for this victory. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our third